one stands out among all for me personally is I can't tell you how many times veterans don't submit dependent claims because they're married, they have children, they have stepchildren that live in the house. In some niche situations, they have parents. I have a friend who is financially responsible for their parents, so he had to claim them. That's a whole topic there. But you are missing out on a lot of money, especially for a spouse and one kid. That's the front load chunk. Every child after one, it's like $80 or whatever the number is, but it's still money. And that money is non-taxable income. So sure, 1 month of 300 extra bucks, you can live with that. Okay, what about 15 years of 300 extra bucks per month, right? I don't know what that math is. I can't do quick math in my head, but that's probably the number one.
Marine Corps.
Yeah. And you're eligible to claim dependents when you're at 30%. But guess what? Even if you're at 0 or 10 or 20 or nothing, when you submit that VA disability claim, you know what you can do the very next second is submit that dependent claim. There's no reason why any veteran ever, even if you're at 0, 10, or 20, should not submit a dependent claim. Just get that process going. There are tons of mistakes I see. That's number one for me, Jason. And I'm definitely going to hit on a few others, but I want to hear your mistake. Once that veteran has access to benefits, right? What's the number one mistake that you see from your end?
So look, it's a very, again, nuanced thing. And that's why we're able to bring videos all the time, because there are so many different things out there and there's so many different scenarios. So I'm going to give two real quick. So one scenario would be somebody who's applying for a job, right, with the federal government, or even a local government, right? You're going to have veterans preference points. So if you can prove that you're a 30% rated veteran, you're going to be in the top tier for veteran preference points with the federal government. So that's a great benefit. It front loads you, and there's some definite benefits to that. You have, I changed my mind on my second one, and then I'll do other ones later. But my second one that I'm going to do now is kind of more along these same lines, just to stay on the employment aspect of things. I like this one because it has a low entry threshold. So a lot of people know about different 100% rated veteran stuff, but let's talk about those lower thresholds, right? Your 10%, your 20%, your 30%, right? On these lower percentages, I like benefits that are either adding money to your monthly, household income, or saving you money, right? So I'm going to go to an adding money one, and that's VRNE, Veterans Readiness and Employment. So even if you have a very low rating, if you can say that your disability is causing you some issues with your work to either hold or maintain steady employment, the VRNE, Veterans Readiness and Employment Program, will help you figure out what's the best track for you to go through to get to something that is in line with what you like to do and can do with your given circumstances, whatever your disability is. Now, here's the very interesting part. There's two ways that they will pay you out a stipend. They'll either pay you the standard stipend, which if you go full-time to an institution, let's say that they tell you you need to complete your bachelor's degree to go get a job in X that's going to be more suitable for you. They'll pay you out, and I'm going to not get the numbers exact, but about $1,150 per month full-time for an institutional learning, right? You're getting your bachelor's. However, if you have any post 9/11 GI Bill remaining, it could be 1 day's worth, it could be 10 days worth, a month's worth, it doesn't matter. So long as you have something in your post 9/11 GI Bill bank, they will mirror your BAH allowance, your housing allowance from the GI Bill with a maximum cap. A lot of people aren't aware that there's a cap. There is a cap on it, but it's still substantial, right? It's like $3,250 per month while you're going through the program. And it's mirroring that amount, not utilizing your GI Bill. Now, there's only a few places in the US that would actually be higher if you actually used your GI Bill, like San Francisco type of places, right? Super high cost of living. But still, 3250 ish is a fantastic add to your monthly income into your household. And again, tax free. So this is something that people need to be aware of, because many folks aren't even aware of it until it's too late, or they're like, well, I wish I would have known back then because I really could have used that. So those are two that I'll throw out, and then we'll kick it back to you, and then I'll throw in some more.
Awesome. I want to do personal stories on your too, because it's really these benefits you just don't even think about. So, for everyone who doesn't know, I am a federal employee with the Department of the Army. Have been for a few years, and prior to that, I was in the Marine Corps. So now I'm a federal employee on the GG scale for cyber acceptance service, a bunch of nerdy stuff. That's what I do. I'm not a full time YouTuber, okay? But the reason why I say that,
Double G though.
yeah, yeah, the um, the veterans preference, I didn't know that was a thing, right? Now I wasn't sweating it too hard because I had the experience, but I still uploaded the proper paperwork, and through USA Jobs or whatever federal website you're using, it will tell you what that form is. I forgot what the form is, but if you
I think it's
do that,
15, SF15, I think.
it is a 15. But if you do that, here's the hidden benefit. And this is for the Department of the Army, and each agency has their own benefits. But for the Army, or a DAC, Department of the Army civilian, if you have that veteran preference and you're hired, within that first year, you get 104 free hours of, it's not sick leave, it's hours to go to your VA appointments. Okay. 104. That is over 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks of just going to VA appointments. Okay. And no one knows that. No one talks about that. So these small little benefits at that lower threshold are absolutely, that could, I'll tell you this, my first year, that definitely helped me out personally. And then on the GI Bill side of the house, another story on that one. One of my friends used his GI Bill for about 2, 3 years of his bachelor. And then his last year, I told him, hey, you should apply for VR&E. And then what did he do? He applied for VR&E. And then the VA back paid that veteran specifically. I'm sorry, not back pay. The VA reinstated that veteran's GI Bill completely. So now what he's going to do, and he lives right down the street from me, he's going to use his VR&E to finish out his bachelor's. His GI Bill has been reinstated in full. And then now he's able to, let me get Jason back in here. All right. So now my friend, since he used VR&E, I was just explaining Jason, my friend was using GI Bill for about 2 or 3 years of his degree, and then he used VR&E after the fact to finish out his bachelor's. And there's an effective date. I don't want to go into it, but the VA reinstated his entire GI Bill, the whole thing. And so now he's going to finish his 4-year degree using VR&E, and then he's going to use his GI Bill for masters. And guess what? Whenever he goes into his masters, I'm going to recommend he applies for VR&E again. Okay. And heck, save your GI Bill for your PhD if that's what you want to do. But it's these little, yes, there are life-changing benefits at that 100% PNTMR. Don't get me wrong, and they are sweet and juicy. But these lower threshold benefits, if you take advantage of them, are amazing.